This is Mitch, and welcome to the Real Estate Investor Summit podcast. I have on my new 1000houses.com hat, so you guys don't forget where to find me. And I'm on the line right now with Luke Acree. God, I didn't ask you if that's how you say your name right. Is that how you say it, Acree?
Dude, you got it correct, and I am impressed because very, very few people get my name correct. They say Acree or Acree, so Acree. I'm impressed, man. It must be the Texan in you. I was born in Fort Worth, so maybe.
You're talking to a landman, and I saw Acre.
Okay.
So it's Acree. I saw Acre. That's what it was. So we're going to be talking today about relationship marketing, but right now I got to get my homage paid out here to my sponsor, taxfreefuture.com. Go to taxfreefuture.com. If you don't have a self-directed, tax-deferred, or tax-free retirement plan, you're freaking crazy, man. You need to check this stuff out. There's 37 videos over there. You know, if the eighth power of the wonder of the world is compound interest, probably the ninth power is tax-free earnings these days. So please go to taxfreefuture.com and check it out, because you will not believe what your financial advisors are not telling you. And we're going to tell you what they're not telling you and why they're not telling it to you, and you're going to understand perfectly. So with that, no further ado, let's get on with Luke. We're going to be talking about relationship marketing and all the social media avenues and what we can and can't do and what we have to do to compete today in the world if we want to be around and not be a dinosaur very shortly, if not already. Luke, my school, I don't think had a computer in it. I think they got one about the time I graduated. And I've been chasing that bus with those computers in it ever since. And I've always been about 10 feet behind it, you know? So I learned really quickly on that I'm really not going to catch on to this stuff. I get pissed off at my freaking remote control TV. I just want one that turns the volume up, turns it off, and changes the channel. That's all I want to do. You know, I don't want to take a shower with it and have it rub my back or anything. I just want to change the damn channel and turn it off and turn up the volume. But it's not that simple. They got this thing could fly me to Tahiti, I'm sure, if I could push the right buttons. So I give it to my fourth grader who grows up in this stuff, and they'll tune me into Mars or whatever I want. So I guess what I'm saying is you got to learn to delegate. If it's not you and you don't really get it, just understand the theories we're about to explain, and then get it done. You don't have to do it. Get it done. Am I close to?
Oh, that's the key, man. That is the absolute key to business. It's like, how do you delegate and pass off the things that you don't do well to people that know them? I'm actually impressed. I don't think I would have made it through college without Wikipedia, which is, for those who don't know, obviously you can basically find out anything. If you Google it, the first thing that's going to come up is probably Wikipedia. Now, is it trustworthy? I have no idea, man.
I got news for you. You know, our generation knows how to add, spell, and actually remembers dates and crap.
Not me.
Your entire life is in this thing, and the minute they turn it off, you're screwed.
100%, man. 100%.
No, I think we're all screwed when they turn it off. There's not a truck going to run, not a gas pump going to pump, not a balance transfer going to transfer. And that's how they're going to get us, I swear to God. So unless you're a prepper and got it figured out, when they decide to cut you off, they'll cut you off. Now, with all that doom and gloom out of the way, let's go figure out how to market and make our business successful.
That's the key.
Where do we start?
Well, let me do this. I'll introduce myself in this way. Like, I'm 31 years old. I'm the president of a company called Reminder Media. We're based out of Philadelphia, well, a little outside of Philadelphia, PA. So we got our start years and years ago, 16 years ago, I think, in total. So I joined up with the company. It's been almost 10 years now. But it's been an amazing ride. We have about 220 employees here, and we'll work with about 38,000 clients across the nation this year. Most of them, I say that because most of them are residential real estate agents, commercial real estate agents. I know we have investors. I know this podcast is big, obviously, on investing. Hearing your story, Mitch, before I came on, I'm just blown away. I want to pick your brain during this podcast. But our passion is, and my passion is really, how do I help business owners realize that they're in a relationship business before they're in a transaction-based business. And so often we as business owners, the problem we have is we focus on the technical aspect of the job. So i.e., if you're a residential real estate agent, you're focused on helping someone buy a home, helping someone sell their home, and you try to get really good, whether it's the contract negotiation and all these things, which are all well and good. You should do that. But the key to a long-lasting business is that you have to first and foremost focus on building relationships with people. And from relationships, if you've ever heard that corny saying, which is your network is in your network, or your net worth is in your network, that's the key. And so my passion over the last years that I've been doing this, and Reminder Media as a whole, has been, how do I help people do this at scale with hundreds of people in their database, and do it in a way that creates impact. That I always say, you want to create impact with your client base that leads to advocacy. Because if you can get someone to advocate for you, whether you're an investor, a residential real estate agent, an insurance agent, guess what they're going to do? They're going to use you again. They're going to refer you to people. They're going to give you money. I guarantee you, just meeting you in the last 10 minutes, man, I can tell you are an incredible relationship builder. That's why people are throwing money at you, because you just spark, you're able to connect with people on an emotional level right away. That's what I've been all about. And we've kind of focused on this term relationship marketing. Yeah, you're rubbing here. But that's why we have focused on relationship marketing, which is really, to summarize it, there was an agent in Alabama that I got the privilege of interviewing one time called Ricky Carruth. He's a big-time agent, does over 100 transactions a year. And he gave me this slogan, relationships over transactions. And that's really what it is. It's focusing on the people in your database and in your network, to have a solid relationship with them, keeping consistently in touch with them, giving them value into their life so they don't forget who you are, they use you again, and more importantly, refer you. That's what I've been about, and there's so many ways to do it. I think agents fail at it every single day because they get commission breath, or they get on the hamster wheel where they're trying to chase a magic bullet, which there's no magic bullet out there. And I shouldn't just narrow it to agents, it's every business owner, but that's kind of where that's my passion. That's what I love to talk about. That's what we're doing every single day here at Reminder Media.
Okay, so you made the comment before the show is like, you're not sure that this, how it's going to fit in with investors, because I'm an investor and my audience is investors. And I'm like, holy crap, how does it fit in? So I want to set this preface because I'm trying to figure out how to do something myself and do it like better than anybody in the planet. And I think you're my guy. I think you're the guy that's going to tell me how to do it. Exactly. I have my own ideas, and I'm going to talk to you about my ideas, but then maybe we can interject all your knowledge along the way. But I'm going to be very selfish here, and I'm going to try to get money's worth out of you on this hour or whatever it's going to be, because this is right in my bailiwick right here. So you got real estate agents, and they're trying to stay in touch with their customers and so they can sell houses or list houses, okay? What we're doing is we're trying to buy houses. The hardest part of this equation is buying a house. You can't do anything else until you buy a house in this equation. You know what I mean? So we need to get really good at that. Now, do you know the company Homevestors, right?
Yeah, Homevestors, yeah.
We buy ugly houses. I was good friends with Ken D'Angelo before he passed away, and I was offered the second franchise ever after his daughter and his son in San Antonio, Texas, and I didn't go because I'd done like 450 houses already, and I had my own colors and my own signs, and I was kind of too entrepreneurial down the road to change my colors. But he was a great guy and had a great concept. But one thing he did better than anybody in the world was, I thought, I really admired him, is you can't tell anyone you're in the house flipping business without someone replying to you, oh, are you one of those ugly house guys? This guy branded his name so friggin' good across the country. It's unbelievable. It's almost a sure thing when you say I'm in the house investing, house flipping business, the next sentence out of someone's mouth around you is going to be, you're one of those ugly house guys, right? So here's where I'm headed. I don't have the money nor the will nor the reason to brand my company in San Antonio. I've bought 4 to 5 houses a day in San Antonio, Texas for 24 years, okay? 22 years, really, because I took 2 years off. So I was working for 22 of those 24 years. That's about 2,000 houses in my own hometown or surrounding little area, but not far. It's not across the nation. I want to be known for that. But I look at these guys on the radio, these lawyers that spend millions, and you know, there's a guy in town, Jeff Davis, 444-4444. You know, everybody in the world knows 4444, the fours, man. You know, and I don't even need a lawyer, and I know this guy backwards and forwards, has his number. I have his number memorized. So I got to thinking. Now we got lots of avenues in our house flipping business. We got outbound phone calls to the delinquent taxes and all this stuff. And wherever there's signs of chaos, we're trying to get a hold of these people. We got skip tracing ability. We can find lost owners. That's my favorite thing, because once I get there, no one else is there. But then I thought, I want to open up this one other avenue. I'm going to do it with an intern, and this guy that I'm mentoring, this young kid. I say young kid. He's 6'5", 293-pound football player from college. That,
hey, don't piss him off. Don't piss him off, man. He might.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's big. He's big, and as friendly and as personable as you can be. He's like, what's that guy? That big guy in the Green Walk or whatever, Green Mile. He's just nice, good, big guy. Anyways, I want to do this. Here's my idea. I'm going the long way around, but this is my idea. I can't afford to brand a city of 2 million people. It could cost $500,000, $600,000, $800,000, I think. But what I thought is I could damn sure brand myself to the 17,000 realtors. I could either take the top half of that and only have to brand myself to, you know, 8 to 9,000. Okay. And I could drop off the bottom half that aren't doing anything. However, a lot of the realtors that aren't doing anything are the ones that call me and give me houses for great prices because they don't know what the hell they're doing. So I'm reluctant to take out the bottom. They're also the ones the hungriest for the business and will put up with, you know, some of the things we got to do, you know, because they don't have any, they're not overrun with business. So I don't know that I'm going to take out the bottom half, but here's my point. How I want to set up this media marketing thing so that I want my listeners to figure out, how can you brand yourself so you're as famous as that lawyer that spent all that money, that millions of dollars last year, but you don't need to be famous across the city. You just need every realtor in the county to know your name and what you do.
Dude, I think it's brilliant. Yeah, I think it's brilliant. I think you're touching on, like, if I point out to people kind of like the high level principle, what you're touching on from a marketing perspective is targeting, right? Is your marketing is going to be as good as your targeting. It's like, if I give the analogy to people of fishing, you got to ask yourself, what type of fish are you fishing for? Because you can fish in the creek, you can fish in a lake, you can fish in a pond, you can fish in the ocean. Then you got to ask yourself, what's the gear you need? You know, what is the tackle equipment, depending on the fish you're after.
Deep, how shallow, how fast are you moving?
Correct. So you're IDing for you and your audience. Hey, look, where do we get deals from? We get deals from real estate agents. And what do we want to have happen? We want to make sure that every single freaking real estate agent that wakes up in the community today, where I live, when they think of selling a house, now I don't know if you buy rundown houses, exactly what you're trying to buy.
We got to teach them what they want. We need situational properties, those ones that are going to be lost in 2 or 3 days because of some back pressure or some.
Perfect.
Either the person has a situation or the house has a situation or both. But there's usually huge time pressures, and these are normally listings that they would walk right past because they can't list it and sell a house in 3 days on a new loan. The house won't qualify for a new loan. This guy's got judgments against him, and you know, anyways, you know, there's all kinds of problems, and so they say, I'm not, you know, I can't help you. I need them to know. Pick up the phone, give me that man's phone number, and if I buy that house, I'm going to send you $1,000 or $2,000. You won't have to find me. You don't have to have an agreement with me. I will find you and pay you. I don't care if it takes me 8 months to clear up that title issue. When I do, the first thing on my CRM says, this lead came from so-and-so, and that's the first thing we handle when we buy the house. That's why I buy 100 and 120 houses a year, because people know they can just hand me a phone number, and long after they forgot about that house, a check comes in the mail saying, hey, she finally passed away and the estate finally settled, or whatever the hell took so long. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No, I think it's brilliant. And actually, as I think to myself, because I dabble in flipping, and I dabble in getting rentals. I think I'm learning myself, taking some notes. I need to find these situational properties. But here's what I would say to you. There's a couple cost-effective ways you can easily do it, and then I also think you have to tap into the mindset of the real estate agent, right? Because that's really, you're trying to create in marketing, when you focus, especially from a principle of relationship marketing, you have to focus on giving value to the person you are reaching out to, because if you can actually care and create value from them versus pushing your product, 9 times out of 10, they will get impact way more from that, and they'll want to give back to you. It's called reciprocity. They'll want to help you out. They'll want to use you as the person in this situational property situation. First thing I would focus all you guys on right away is Facebook. So if you don't have a lot of money, is you can advertise on Facebook. You can advertise really, really cost effectively to thousands of people. I'm talking, you could probably hit, depending on your community, you could probably hit 800 to 1,200 people a day on the low end for less than a cup of coffee. Now, if you are willing to spend $25 a day, if you're willing to do something like that, which is chump change in the scheme of marketing, you can hit thousands of people in your community, and you can target real estate agents. People who are real estate agents on Facebook. The reason why I know this is because who do you think our company targets on Facebook? We're targeting using their audience tool, which you can go on, Facebook's ad manager, and you can target people who have real estate interests, people who are interested in real estate, people who follow, realtor.com type of stuff like that, to narrow your list. And you could very easily run a Facebook ad very cost effectively that showcases what? Well, here's the value proposition you have. You have a value proposition that you can help in this situational property, or this, basically when the situation occurs where there's nowhere else to turn, you have the solution for this real estate agent with their client.
Yes, and I have to brand that I'm not flipping contracts or wholesaling my paper. I will close the damn deal. I got money.
Yes.
I got the money.
So you want to showcase that. The thing on Facebook that you have to be careful of is they don't, when you put up your image as the ad, they don't allow you to put a lot of text in the image, if any, really, these days. So you're really writing your copy up, in above the ad or above the picture, and you want a picture that draws people in. Sure. And then obviously, from this standpoint, in order to capture leads, Facebook gives you 2 ways, right? Well, more than 2 ways, but there's 2 ways you can do it really simply. If you have a landing page or a website, which, most people do these days, but if you don't, that's okay, because you can do it directly on Facebook with the second way. But the first way is you want to send them to your landing page, and you want to capture their email address or their phone number. Like, you want to capture some form of information so you can track these people down, and ultimately you can proactively reach out to them. That's one of the second keys to marketing that we can get into, but you want to be able to proactively reach out to them. So that might be simply—
I have an idea for that. I own a company called LiveCom, and you buy little phone numbers for $2 a month, and when they call in to hear your recording, you can send it to a recording. You capture their cell phone number. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's beautiful. So that's a way you can do it. You can do it with a form on your landing page that says, basically, get access to my free, just do something for free. Just get access to my free 3-step bullet point plan.
Offer, something they can't want to take advantage of.
Good old Tony Robbins. At that point, the other thing you can do, if you don't have the ability to do a landing page, right, or you don't have the phone number thing that you're talking about, Facebook will allow you to capture the lead right there on Facebook's platform. So they don't even have to leave Facebook. They'll give you the option in creating the ad to where you can actually capture the information right there on Facebook's page. That way you don't have to, if you don't have a website, if you don't have the phone number thing, if you're worried, I got to set up all this other stuff. No, you can run an ad for literally $20 a day, reach thousands of people. On the Facebook ad, it will allow you the ability to capture that person's form data so you can make it their phone number, their name, whatever you want to make it. And that lead will obviously come to you through Facebook's platform, and you can reach out to them there. So very simplistic. That, to me, is a no-brainer. We're running an ad right now for my brother who does a lot of rental and flipping stuff. And one of the things he is that he's running an ad that basically says, we buy homes. Not we buy ugly houses, but we'll buy your home. And he's getting tons of hits off of that ad that he's running. And it's a simple ad that he created. It's literally a picture of him and my other brother, and showcasing with some bullet points of, hey, we'll buy your home for you. And he's getting tons of people. You get twofold here when you run that ad. One is you actually get to capture leads. The second is you're branding to everybody who sees it. You're branding that, hey, you are in the community someone who's an expert on buying homes. For you, it would be these situational properties that you would want to make sure they know. And the key to branding, this is a mistake we make in business all the time. All of us probably listening to this have fallen into the same trap. You get into instant gratification mode. And I'm telling you guys that, look, when McDonald's runs a commercial on TV, they don't expect you to see the Big Mac commercial, grab your wallet or your purse, run out the door, run to the closest McDonald's and go, oh my gosh, I just saw this commercial. I need a Big Mac. That's not how branding works. So the problem is, as business owners, what happens is we run a commercial per se, we do a branding type play, and we expect instant gratification. We stop. We've just wasted our money. And this is the slow death of every business owner. You spend your way out of the business slowly because you don't do things consistently. You got to consistently run that message so people constantly think of Mitch, the guy who buys homes, in a situation where there's no other options. Then what happens is over time, you've built as Gary Keller, because obviously you're in Texas, so I got to mention Gary Keller. But Gary Keller, he talks about this idea of mind share, man. If you're not first in the mind of the client, when they think of who can I turn to buy this home, 76% of the time people will choose the first company they think of. 76% of the time. So if you're not first, the chances of you getting the business is terrible. So all this rant to just say, when you're running that Facebook ad, you got to do it consistently, let alone a little tangent for you guys. Facebook's algorithm, you need to at least give it 3 to 7 days to warm up to really, when it chooses this audience, it's starting to test and see who's responding out of the people that we could show this ad to, who's engaging, who's responding with the ad. So don't end your ad too soon. You need to give your ad at least 3 to 7 days to warm up so you can really predict what is the success of this ad that I'm running. So,
hey, 3 to
yes,
7
I see your
days,
hand raised. Got a question.
3 to 7 days, though, doesn't really tell me anything, because 3 to 7 in a day, you could choose to hit 25 people a day, or you can choose to hit 25,000 people a day. So,
well, 25 is too low, but yes.
But you're saying 3 to 5 days. That doesn't mean anything to me. How many people do we need to hit in that per day before we've run enough numbers to get warmed up?
Well, the easy answer to that is as many possible people as you can with your budget, right? So the more people you can hit on a Facebook ad like that in the grand scheme of the audience that you're doing. So the audience is, hey, I'm selecting people who are interested in real estate. I'm selecting people who are real estate agents, like that type of idea. How big is that audience? That audience might be small wherever you're at. What'd you say, Big Point, Texas? It might be big. It might
Bigfoot, Texas.
Okay, Bigfoot, Texas. There you go. So it might be small there. So unfortunately, your ability to hit people is dictated by that audience size. The other one that plays in is if you have an audience of 500,000 people, hit those 500,000 people if you can afford to. If you can't afford to, what I tell people all the time is you want to at least have an audience of a couple thousand people that you're hitting to, because the two ways you're thinking about it is, one is your cost per lead is going to dramatically go up the smaller audience you have, unless obviously you have a very engaged audience. But more importantly, you're thinking from a branding perspective. When you run this ad that, hey, I buy homes, those 2,000 people, you can see on Facebook's ad manager how many times the normal person is seeing that ad, or how many times on average is that ad popping up into those people's feed. So you can say, hey, okay, I've touched these people on my feed X number of times. I've touched these people X number of times, and then you can obviously choose to continue running that ad or go, hey, I've seen them enough. And then ultimately you got to ask yourself, am I getting business from people in this community? Are people telling me they're seeing my ads on Facebook? Because they should be.
Okay, so this is why I wanted to tune into the real estate agent / broker market, is because they're not one and done. I'm not trying to catch them on that one time that they have a house for sale themselves. I'm trying to catch them in their daily life, because there's not one realtor in town that shouldn't at least sell me 2 houses a year if they had their eyes open and their ears in tune for what I'm looking for, because they're walking right past it and they're not even paying, and they're not even getting paid for it. They're throwing it in the trash. I like to say, if you'll give me a little bit of your attention, I'll get you some cash for your trash, okay? Because you're throwing this stuff away.
That's great.
It's no good to you, but I can use it, and I'll send you a check. It'll be money from heaven. You won't even expect that anything ever happened, and here comes a $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 check out of the blue. Because you didn't water it up and throw it in the trash, or at least before you threw it in the trash, you picked up and called me and says, hey, there's this guy named Mr. Smith. He's got a predicament. Here's his phone number. He lives at 123 Main Street. Good. See you later. And that's what I'm going to pay you for, that one tiny little act right there.
Well, let me ask you this, Mitch. My question to you would be, why do you think the agents aren't doing that for you now?
They don't know, and they can't trust. Maybe they think, they've been taught they need to have a listing. Without a listing, you don't have any, your agreement has no teeth. You won't get paid. Things will go wrong. I mean,
right.
I need to teach them that, for 22 years, I've sent my checks, whether you remember it or not. I will find you. You know what I mean? I also have skip tracing. So if you've left the country, I will still find you. I don't care where you're at unless you're dead. And I'd probably find you if you're dead. I can find you.
So it's an attention problem, meaning we don't have their attention. When I think of it from a marketing standpoint, it's how do you get the most known? The only reason they're not using you is not because you don't offer a value proposition. You can send them thousands of dollars and you can turn their trash into cash, as you say. There's a great saying that people don't do business with the best product. They do business with the most known product, i.e. Starbucks doesn't have the best coffee, but Starbucks is on every corner. And that's my personal opinion. Starbucks doesn't have the best. So you got to be the most known. So Facebook is one way to get known. Another way to get known with real estate agents, and I'll give you guys a strategy that our mortgage brokers use. So when a mortgage representative, our mortgage rep, signs up for our program, they send our magazine, American Lifestyle Magazine or digital edition, right? They send it to their client base, but they partner with real estate agents and also advertise in the real estate agents magazine, even though they know ultimately I'm probably not going to get a lot of business from the realtor sending this postcard out or sending this magazine out. But what they're trying to do is showcase to that agent that, hey, I care about you. I want to support you in your business, and they support the agent from a marketing standpoint. So one of the things, besides the fact that you're going to give them, you have an education problem on your hand. You've got to educate them that you can take these situations and turn them into money for you. You can do that through branding ads on Facebook. You can do that through postcards, right, cost effectively. You can get the education out there. You could do speaking events at real estate offices where, like my team, I have 100 1099 contractors around the nation. They go into real estate offices at their Tuesday, Wednesday meetings, sometimes Thursday. They present for 10 minutes. You could have 10 minutes where you educate all the real estate agents of how you can take their trash to cash. So that's the education play to get known. Then what you could also do is how do you take the key agents that you want to work with, maybe not all 17,000, but how do you take the key agents and how do you support them in their business? How do you guys come together and maybe you do marketing together? Maybe you come up with a plan where you co-brand, co-partner.
I have the plan. I mean, I got to talk to 19 people about buying their house to buy one. The other 18 need a realtor. They want market price. I can't pay what they want.
Bingo. So you got that's
easy. It's an easy fix, and it's a perfect plan. It'll work if if someone brings me a deal. I'm going to send them some listings. I can't exclusive up with one though. Because and I'm really making this personal, so I hope it's not. Well, it's not going to.
No, but it's ideas. It's ideas that everybody on the podcast can take advantage of.
But beyond that, I wanted to. My partner and I, Nathan, we're teaming up together to open up this avenue, and we're brainstorming how we're going to make cashforhouses.net famous in the real estate arena. And so we started cold calling them, and they are getting beat up like crazy from investors calling them. And
really,
they actually get to where they deny they're in the business and hang up on you. I quit 3 weeks ago or 3 months ago. And then you find out, they're out on a showing today. It's really bad. So then I took the approach of, I'm just going to call all the ones I know, introduce myself to them. They already know me, so I don't have to introduce myself, but I need to start touching them more often so they'll think of me, because they're obviously not thinking of me because they haven't sent me a house in 4 years. And I know they've seen one that I needed to know about.
Are you doing any type of drip marketing? Because that's the key there. Is the key is, like, you have a huge database. There's 17,000 agents, you're saying, in your area, right? So that's a huge database. And, you know, so the key is, how do you get their information into the database? The great thing for you is real estate agents' data is you can find it on the web, so you can scrape it. You can get an intern to scrape the data off the web, put it into CRM for you. Then you set up a drip where you basically hit them at least once a month. I would encourage you more than once a month, but at least once a month with an email. Then what you start doing, right, from a marketing perspective, is you always want to think of it like a bullseye, or a target, I should say, and you're trying to get to the bullseye. So if I'm drawing out a bullseye for you, right, and you have those circles where you're getting closer and closer, I see it as you have the unknown public, you don't know them, you have your acquaintances, you have your friendships/relationships, and then you have your advocates at the center of that bullseye. You as a business owner, and I know it seems complicated, and maybe as I'm saying it, it really isn't. Your job as a business owner is to get these people into a database and get them going through this nurture funnel that leads them from, I don't know you at all, you're unknown to me, you're a real estate agent I've never met before, I've introduced myself, we become acquaintances, you know of me, I drip on you consistently so you know me, you like me, and trust me, so we actually start developing some form of a relationship and friendship, and then ultimately, out of those people you have a friendship with, there's going to be a 20% segment, if you use the 80-20 rule, that are going to really be the people that just love you, Mitch, and they're going to give you deals all the time.
Okay, so we're in on that. So we decided to start trying to, what we wanted, all we really need is about 400 people max, maybe just 200. You know, if I bought one house from 200 realtors, I'd break my all-time record and smash it. If I bought one house from 200 realtors a year, one house from 200 of them. So I'm thinking, you know, if you get 300, you ought to do some business. I want to find 300 people out of the 17,000 that once I identify them, you know, they're the kind of people that'll give me their birthday because we know them that well. Can I have your birthday? You don't have to give me the year. If you're worried about identity theft, give me a couple of days plus or minus on either side, the month. And you know, I want to send you something for your birthday. It don't have to be the exact damn day, you know, but I want to send them. We were thinking about every 3 weeks, but mixing it up a little. They're going to get a hard copy card in the mail every month, and we went through the holidays and we figured out what those were. We're trying to make funny real estate cards that have cashforhouses.net in them always. You know, like the card is printed with cashforhouses.net in it, or there's some kind of really high quality stamp that we stamp it with our colors and everything. So, and it's got to be interesting enough that it's fun to open. It's always funny. It's always entertaining. Don't let that one sit. Open that one first. We'll do the bills later, you know?
No, you're hitting on the key to any mailer you send out.
Was going to use pre-scheduling text messages and also send them updates on how we're doing, what we bought last week, kind of by showing them what we bought, or what do you say, making a hypothetical, taking it as your own, saying, look, you know, this is just like the houses that we buy, and showing them why you bought it, where it was, how much you paid for it, what the issues were where I got the money, you know, that it closed within 7 days. Let them know that you're a real doer, you know. Some months you have a big month, say, hey, I bought 15 houses this month, you know. Just want to let you know I'm not out of money yet. You know,
I love that.
In trying to take those, you know, you're taking the 17,000, like you said, bringing them down to a bullseye, and then now there's only 200 to 400 people that I got to spend any money on at all. And I may not be able to afford to brand like home investors through a whole country of tens of thousands of people, millions of people, but I certainly can handle 200 to 400 people, 500 people on a monthly basis. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I love that. I think you have hit on so many good things from a marketing perspective. I think you can even take it deeper. Like when you think of that bullseye, let's say it's 200 people. Well, there's a bullseye within the bullseye. What if you get your top 30 people, your top 50? I heard this incredible idea one time of doing a happy hour at a hotel. The reason why it's so brilliant is because you get to mingle with people. But then the brilliant part is you don't have to worry about the food. You don't have to worry about the drinks. The hotel is more than happy to offer, most hotels, their bar area. You get to show up, mingle with your friends, literally pay for the drinks and the food, the apps, and then leave. And it's such a powerful thing to do with your top 25, 50 people that are giving you deals that really solidifies to them. So your marketing plan right there, if I repeat it back to you, is you're trying to do letters, you're doing pre-scheduled text, you want to do an update on what your journey is, meaning like how many homes you've bought, right, through email. So you're hitting people, and if you're doing that every 3 weeks or so, and let's say you did one of these a month, you're hitting people 3 times a month. You're hitting people consistently like 36 times a year, which is phenomenal. And mentioning this Gary Keller guy again, right, the founder of Keller Williams, he talks, his big thing was the 33 touch points. You want to touch people 33 times. Now, I've seen people have success with 12 touch points a year. I've seen people do way more, like 70 plus touch points. The key in it is where you're touching on from a marketing perspective of, you talked about, I want to make my cards funny. I want to give them a reason to actually open the card that I send them. That is the 100% key in any marketing you do. In fact, I mean, I don't know if they see video on this podcast, but probably not. But our magazine, right, that I'm holding up right here that you can see, that's the whole key behind it. The key behind it is that people don't throw it away. They get this magazine in the mail, and they go, wow, this is really nice. And they bring it out of their mailbox. They bring it into the home. Statistically, it lives for 4 weeks, and people read it for an average of 44 minutes. And you compare that to like a postcard's, 5 seconds or so. The point being is, when you send something to your database, the key that you have to think of is you're getting either 2 things. One is you're hitting them enough so you just build that mind share. Even if it's trash, if someone sees enough trash, they still remember the trash, right? So, and that's expensive to do, and it's very time consuming. So I never encourage people to do that. The second flip side is, how do I send stuff to people that creates impact with them? That's funny. Think about it this way. Do something that's funny. Do something that's entertaining from a standpoint of, hey, it's not just comedy, but it's actually entertaining in their life. Maybe it's local events, something like that. Or do something that's educational, that adds value to them from an education standpoint. Hey, if you do landscaping, it increases your home value by 10% on average. Or here's, if you're a local real estate agent, here's what the local market has done. Stay in those lanes, and you'll have a lot of success because it's adding value to people. I love what you're doing here and think you can take it even deeper with like a local, happy hour or something like that to create that much more impact.
Well, great minds think alike, right? So we were thinking, so as soon as someone made an offer, they moved to a different list, there was generic, and then there was people that were friendly and open, and then there's people that actually sent over, actually brought a lead to us. Now, whether the lead was right or wrong or indifferent, it didn't matter. The point was, this guy was thinking about us, that guy we went to lunch with, and then maybe the top 10 or 15 or 20, like you said, get them to a happy hour and buy their first drink or 2. You don't have to.
Correct. Yes.
You
buy someone a beer, they become a friend for life.
You come by, I'll buy you a beer. I mean, that works for everybody. And no one expects you to buy everybody the thing the whole time. Plus, you're up there getting camaraderie. So I'm convinced that this would work. I was a little bit daunted when Nathan and I started calling real estate agents. They must just be getting pounded by real estate.
They are, man. Not only real estate, they're getting pounded by marketing companies too. They're getting pounded across the board.
Yeah. So I started thinking, I'll reach out within my sphere. That should be 30, 40, 50 anyways to start out with. And then I can ask them to recommend me somebody so that I'm not coming in cold. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Who's your partner? Who's your broker? Who's the top salesman in your office? Can I meet that guy? I don't know. I don't expect it to be fast, but I think in a year you could get to 400 people, and I don't think you'll have any problem finding houses after that, if that's the only thing you do.
I 100% agree with you. I think the data backs you up too. If you look at all transactions done in 2018, and you source, this is National Association of Realtors did this buyer's trend profile report and whatever, all listing data or all listings that happened and all buyers. If you looked, it was like, I think 64% of sellers and 54% of buyers, when you sourced how did they find their agent to buy the home, it was through a referral. It was through using the same agent they used in the past or through a referral. Why am I making that point? What you're saying is how every great business has grown is you start like Dave Matthews. If you're a fan of the Dave Matthews Band, or if you hate him, it doesn't matter. He's known as being a great marketer, because what he did is he started in Charlottesville, Virginia, and when you study what he did with his band, he played at all the local bars and venues in Charlottesville. Then he just went out a little wider to the bars just outside, then a little wider, and he started by referral growing his band, and he's known, like, they're one of the most successful money-wise bands of all time. I'm not even a huge Dave Matthews fan. I just know about him because I grew up in Charlottesville, Virginia. It's the same in this business.
You know what's weird about that?
What?
I was going to use the exact same example, the exact same one. I didn't know that Dave Matthews did that, but when I was back, when I was dreaming about a music career 3 lifetimes ago, one of the things you learned was you started real local and you just moved out as you went.
Yep.
I mean, some of them,
and you build the fan base.
some of the most famous Texas country artists, you know, they're not national artists, but they're very famous around Texas, is they just played in the 7 colleges around in a circle. They only played those 7 college towns, you know?
Yep. So what's the business principle? The business principle is the same. Start with your sphere of 30 agents you know, and get them to the happy hours. Start your drip program, right? Start your letters, your pre-scheduled text, your update on how you've been doing, how many transactions you did this month. Take some of them to a happy hour, buy them a beer. Start that process with the 30 you know, then ask the 30 to give you one name. And now you're at 60. And then so forth. Ask the 60 to give you another name. And now you're at 120. And it's that simple. Where so many people that I see fail is they get this concept. I'm sure all these listeners right now get this concept. The problem is they stay in a passive state. And this is a pet peeve of mine. It's why I always want to talk about it anywhere I go, is they think, okay, if I just set up the letters to go out, the pre-scheduled text, the update on myself to go out, then the people are going to come to me. It never works that way. You always have to take a proactive approach, which is, I've done my due diligence, I started the drip, now let me go to them and ask them. Don't give the ball, if you're playing basketball, don't give the ball in their court so they have to now make the decision of what to do. Are they going to give you a referral? Are they going to recommend you to somebody else? Go and ask them. The power of asking is unbelievable, but yet so many few business people do it. The 30 people you know right now, have you actually asked them to give you the next, and I'm not talking to you specifically, I'm just talking to everybody on the podcast. Have you asked them to give you the next agent? If you haven't, shame on you. Shame on you, because you're staying in a passive state. And the great entrepreneurs that I study and read about and get the privilege of knowing, they never stay in a passive state. They always have control of their destiny. They're always being proactive. They're doing what you do. They're picking up the phone. They're calling the agents to see what they can get. It's that passive versus proactive is so critical, but so few people do it because it's hard. Because it's awkward, because you realize real fast, wow, these people are pounding on me if I call them, you know, that type of idea.
Well, if you're not a social person, this isn't going to work, because you have to engage, you have to converse, even person to person or through the media. So it's not for an introvert. You know what I mean? If you're an introvert,
correct,
you're going to have to go hire someone to, you know, to go out and do it for you. But so you have a giveaway for the audience today. It's a free ebook called Getting Started with Relationship Marketing. I want everyone to go to REInvestorSummit.com/relationship marketing. Okay. It's kind of long, but it fits the thing here. Relationship marketing. When they do that, Luke, they're going to get over to the show notes, and then they'll have all the specific links and everything that they need over there. I just want to get them over to the show notes. They can find out about your company. They can call for a consultation. Whatever it is you want them to have over there, they're going to have it. Go to REInvestorSummit.com/relationship marketing, and that'll get you over there. And Man, you have a lot of stuff, and we could talk about this for another week and never even take a breath, probably. But
Maybe we should go out for a beer, No.
right. Uh, I'm going to go ahead and get this book myself too, because I'm going to hand it over to my intern, my assistant, and we're gonna figure this out. Just like everything else, it takes some planning, it takes some road mapping, it takes some diligence to get everything in its place, and it's going to be top heavy. It's going to be front end loaded heavy, probably with expenses too. The expenses will be loaded up front a little bit, and you're going to have to commit to spend a little bit of money and find out what's going to work. And then you land on the budget, you kind of see where it's all going to level out at, and you make a decision to stay with it, just like radio advertising. If you're going to advertise on the radio and you're not going to advertise 3 to 4 times a day during the traffic hours for 8 months in a row, don't even start. Don't even start, right? That's what
Dude, amen, man. Amen to that.
And don't even start, because you're waiting for people, A, to learn who you are, and then B, have that circumstance cross their path when they are fully aware of who you are. And that takes some time. If nothing else, it might take some time for them to find the circumstance that you were looking for. You can't, a lot of them won't say, oh, I know exactly the house. Although I suppose if we called all 17,000 of them right now and they actually answered the phone and took our call, that probably 175 of them right now have something we should go look at right this minute. I'm sure of it. They just don't know that I want that. You're really, sir, you're looking for a house that's on fire. Okay. I didn't know there were people like you. Let's go.
Yep. People buy from the thing they most know, not the thing that's the best. You got to be the most known.
Anything you want to add here to the people out there that are maybe just starting out and they're trying to get a name, no one knows who they are? What's the words of wisdom to a newbie out there?
Yeah, I think the words of wisdom I would give to any newbie out there is that, you don't have a lot of money to spend. I totally understand that. So your best advocates are right next to you. They're your friends, your family. I know no one wants to be the Amway salesman or the insurance salesman or something like that. Get over it. Get over it and call these people that are your friends, your family. Let them know what you're looking for. So often the mistake that I see small business owners make is they assume their uncle knows not only the business they're in, but more importantly, what you need to be successful. Your uncle doesn't know what you need to be successful, just like you couldn't probably name for your uncle right now what he needs at work to actually get a raise, get a promotion, whatever it is. You need to let your sphere know. It's the most cost effective because you can pick up your phone, text them. You can literally pick up your phone, call them, talk to them, see them at a family get together, see them at church. Let your sphere know. Get that sphere into a database system. Some type, even if you're using Excel, but some type of CRM, and then start dripping on them. And that is what it's all about.
The drip can't be, do you have for me? Can you find me? Do you have it? Sometimes it's got to be like, hey, something cool happened to me yesterday. I walked down and I bought this fourplex. It had been on fire. And tell the story.
Yes.
The lady's fine.
Great advice.
Survived the hospital, but, it's over there on street. I mean, I don't know, make it conversational and give them some insight into your life. And at the same time, kind of subconsciously reinstating, I'm out there doing this every day. No one's as hard at it as I am, Just
as you plan your marketing, the 3 things you want to think of, which is not me. I learned it from Zig Ziglar. I'm not sure where he got it from, but people are going to buy and use people they know, they like, and they trust. So when you think about your marketing, ask yourself, how does it get me known? How does it get me liked? Which plays into what you just said, is stop asking all the time when you do marketing. Stop asking they won't like you if you're always asking for something from them.
Yeah,
and then how do you get them? Yeah, give them something. That's what will get them to like you. And then how do you get them to trust you? Not only as a person and a human being, that's critical, but you want them to trust you as the authority on the subject matter that you do. So for you, it's buying these homes and situational, properties. For an insurance agent, it might be, insurance, but how do you get them to trust you as the authority in that subject matter? And that's done by sharing the stories of your successes. And not only you sharing your successes, have some of your clients. People don't care what you have to say about yourself. They care what your clients have to say about you. And so, sharing the stories of the successes, sharing updates on the market, sharing updates on what happened to you when you flipped this home. Once you do that consistently enough with people, they start seeing you as, man, Mitch, man, knows everything about flipping homes, dude. If I need something for my kitchen renovation, I'm going to go to Mitch and ask him because he's an authority on this subject matter. And that's what you're trying to do. So just think about it that way as you're running your marketing. How do I get known? Which is, a lot of times the easiest part because you're just getting out there to get known. How do you get liked, which is a little bit more complicated, and how do you get trusted?
So I even thought about that's great advice. But the question is, for how much money and how much? So when you don't have a lot of money, you just have to shrink your target down and be super consistent. So
yep, shrink your target, super consistent, and leverage who you already know. Grassroots. How do you win an election? How do you win an election? You go to town hall, shaking hands and kissing babies. That's how you win an election. Meaning it's grassroots, and that takes a lot of sweat equity. So when you're new, it's not money equity. When you're like Mitch, where you have some money to spend, you can spend the money equity, baby. But when you're brand new, you don't have any money. It's called sweat equity, guys. You got to get out there and you got to sweat. And that means sun up to sun down, shaking hands, kissing babies, letting people know, how do I add value to your life? How do I get you to know me? How do I get you to like me? How do I get you to trust me? And that can be done. You just got to be willing to do the door knocking, do the phone calling, going to the real estate offices, offering value, that type of idea.
Yeah, people said, how did you start out when you're broke? I said, well, when you don't have any money, you got to have education, and you got to put in time. So when you don't have money, you're putting in time, and you're trying to do it as smart as you can. So hopefully you're learning from somebody what not to do, so you're not wasting your time. So, when you don't have money, you're putting in time, and hopefully you're putting in knowledgeable time. All right, my friend. I appreciate you so much. Again, get the free ebook, Getting Started with Relationship Marketing. I want you to go to reinvestorsummit.com/relationship marketing. No, it's a little long, but you're not going to forget it. If you forget it after all this, maybe you need to check into some other field of business. All right, my friends. I'll talk to you later. I'd like to say thank you to Luke Acree for stopping by and parting us with his knowledge. There's a lot more to say. Get over there to the show notes, reinvestorsummit.com/relationship marketing. Find out more about him and his company. I'd like to thank all of y'all for stopping by to get you some Luke Acree, and we'll see you next time. See you later.
Awesome, Mitch. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.